Yo, what is the crack? So this is my second channel, my other channel that I'm doing this video on, and I'll explain why. I'll leave a timestamp in the description if you don't care about me explaining stuff and you just want to go to like the title of this video, because I don't blame you. Like, I'm the most, like, yeah, I don't blame you. So basically, on my other channel, I do various I basically only do covers, reaction videos, and content videos right now, because I was noticing people didn't really want to see my makeup videos or my OCD videos. Well, I know people did enjoy them, but I know the majority of people just wanted to see my music videos. But I know people still enjoy my OCD videos and like my makeup videos, etc. And I enjoyed making them, so I still want to make them. So I'm just gonna put them on here. Like, I don't want to have. It's a bit annoying having two channels, because it would just be easier if they were all in the same place, but I know that not everyone wants to see the same thing, so it would just be easier for me to put most of my talking videos on this one and my music videos on the other one, because so then people watch what they want to watch. It would be easier for them to find it. Okay, I said that really fast. I hope you understood it, because I didn't even understand what I was saying myself. So I feel like I need to put a disclaimer for this story, because if I was watching this story from someone else's perspective that I maybe didn't have OCD or a mental health condition, I'd be like, honey, what did you doing? Like, that is out of order. So I just want to put a disclaimer, like, I did not want to do this. I did not want to bump my lessons. I did not want to be a pain. Like, I didn't want to waste people's time. Like, I didn't want this to happen. But having OCD, especially, this happened like nearly 4 years ago, like this November, December time. I couldn't control my OCD at all. I couldn't do it. I was basically being bullied and controlled in my mind. Like, my mind and my, that was basically bullying and controlling me, and I couldn't do anything about it. I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. I could control it or anything. So yeah. So if you haven't watched any of my OCD diaries videos, which is on my old channel, I did 7 of the videos. I'll link the playlist down below. It's kind of cool, those videos. You can see like how I go between the first video and the 7th video, so it's kind of cool. But I was watching them and I was like, how did I not tell the story? I was like, how did I not tell the story? Because this is one of the big things that happened in result of my OCD, and I didn't even talk about it. Probably because I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, or it just made me feel dirty. What I mean when I feel dirty is that something that isn't actually dirty, it makes me still feel dirty. So like, certain people make me feel dirty, certain objects make me feel dirty, or textures, whatever, they make me feel dirty, and then I need to like wash my hands or clean myself, etc. Just works like that. I don't know why. So like, a few times, it hasn't happened loads and loads of times, but in the past it has happened where like, I find certain people or certain things, well certain people dirty, in fact. And it hasn't happened like loads and loads of times, but it has happened a few times. It happened with a couple people in my class, in my old school, but I got over them in a few months. But with this teacher, which is why I bumped the lessons, it happened like all the time. And oh yeah, I'll get into that. I just thought of something else. I think I said that thing in a video, like, blah, blah, just ignore me. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. Funny now. Stop. So anyway, this happened ages ago, and I found my science teacher dirty. So, like, but I feel like if I saw my science teacher today, I would still find them dirty, which is surprising, because as it's been nearly 4 years, I would have expected myself to get over it by now. But like, because I normally get over people within a few months, but it's just a bit surprising that I haven't anyway. So like, I found him dirty, and it was really hard to go to the lessons, but I still had to do it because it was school. Like, I had to go in. It was, no matter how hard it was, by law I have to go to school like everyone else. So I would go to my lessons, but then one day I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it because it was horrible. So I was just like, Mum, I'm not going to science today, and she was probably like, she'll go. So anyway, before science started, I went to the toilet. I stayed in the toilet, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually bunking my lesson. Like, what? Since when were you a rebel? Like, I was like, why are you being naughty? Like, for real. So I called my mom, because I know people are like, bro, why are you bunking? And you decide to call your mother. Like, is that a good idea? But I needed to talk to someone, and I knew she would know why I was bunking. So I called my mom. She was like, okay, well, I'm gonna call the school office and get someone to find you. I was like, okay. So she called the school office. Someone came and found me, brought me to like the medical room, and I talked to like to one of the support teachers, and she was like, okay, well, it was like halfway through the lesson at this point, and I told her why, because the school knew I had OCD, so I told her why, and she was like, okay, well, for the rest of the lesson, you can help me like decorate the Christmas tree, because it was near Christmas, like in the calf, but next lesson you have to go to your lesson. And I was like, okay. So I helped her decorate the Christmas tree. The next lesson, which was like a couple of days later, it was first period, and so I went to the medical room. I said I was ill. They were like, would you have? I was like, science. And they were like, oh, well, we know why you're saying you're ill, because you don't want to go science. I was like, busted. So anyway, they were like, well, if you're not going to go to your lesson, if you're going to refuse to go to your lesson, then we need to call your mum in and you need to go home, because if you're going to refuse, like, we can't do anything. So they called my mum in. My mum came in. I went and sat in my mum's car for like the whole lesson. Then after the lesson was over, I went back to school because I still had 4 more lessons. So I was just like, well, I'm going to go back to school because I'm not going to waste my whole day. So yeah, that's what happened. They weren't very happy with me, but whatever. Then a couple of days later, I had another science lesson, and I went to the medical room again. But I'll tell you, before I was meant to have science, I had games, and I played hockey in games. And that games lesson, this actually happened, right? Someone like swung their hockey stick and it hit me in my lips, and like my lip was bleeding. And I said that's why I went to the medical room. I wasn't lying. I think they thought I was lying, but I wasn't lying. But if I did have a different lesson, I probably wouldn't have gone. But I still wasn't lying. Like my lip was still bleeding. Like anyway, so they were like, "Would you have science?" So they were like, "Oh, jeez." Anyway, so they were like not happy with me, like very not happy, because this was the third time this happened, and the way they handled this time, well, the way they handled it overall, I don't think it was very good, because I feel like what they should have done was like try and help me find someone to speak to that would help me gradually get over it, because I really wasn't healthy. I couldn't control anything. Like I wasn't healthy. Like every day was such a pain. Every day was horrible. Just trying to get through school, doing things people wouldn't think twice about doing, opening a door. Like opening a door could often be the hardest thing. And like, why? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but that was the case. Like, I needed someone to talk to that would gradually help me and give me steps to get over it. Like, anyway, I digress. So, they got my head of year because this was the third time it happened. So, my head of year came, and I can't remember if I was crying at this point, but I did start crying because this was so much for me. Like, this was like the worst day at school ever. Oh my gosh. So my head of year came. He was like, oh, this is ridiculous. I was like, oh, thanks. So yeah, he was like that. He was like, you need to go to lesson, whatever. And then anyway, so what they did next really infuriates me, because I don't understand why they would do this when, yeah, I just don't understand. Like, yeah. So they went and got my actual science teacher that was actually teaching my lesson. So they just got my science teacher out of, like, when they were supposed to be teaching a lesson. Like, that's valuable learning time. And I know I wasn't learning, but it shouldn't stop, like, 30 other people from learning. Like, I didn't want to be the reason that they would stop learning anyway, because, yeah, anyway. So he came, and I just started crying, and I started turning around, because I didn't want to see him. Like, why do you think I want to see you? Like, I don't. So, and then I got really angry, because obviously I got angry because I don't want to see him. So I like raised my voice at the support teachers, and they were like, don't shout. I wasn't shouting, but like, would you want me to be like, oh yeah, you're just the person I wanted to see. Like, I really wanted to see you today, didn't I? No, I was avoiding you. And anyway, and he was complaining to like one of the support teachers about how I had to go to the lesson, like I had to do it, like. And then one of the teacher was like, well, this is different. Like, this is a special case because, yeah, because obviously I have OCD. Like, do you think I want to be bunking? Do you think I want to be wasting people's time? I don't. I could not control myself. Like, and thank goodness I've learned to do that now. But so they were like, well, if you're going to refuse to go to lesson, we're going to have to call your mum again, and you're going to have to go home because we can't do anything. Like, if you're refusing to go to your lesson, like, you have to leave. So they called my mum in. My mum came and picked me up. My mum talked to my science teacher, which I didn't want to happen because, like, why would I? Yeah, that's dirty. So anyway, so they talked, and I was so upset. I went home and I cried for ages. And I remember we had people around that evening, and it was just really hard to just pretend everything was alright when I had, like, one of the worst days ever. So yeah, it was just really just rubbish, honestly. And then I couldn't, like, move science class because I just had to be in that class, which I'll go on to about the next year. I just couldn't be in that. I couldn't be in that class, but I had to. So from then on, I had to deal with it. I didn't want to make my mum upset that I was bunking lessons. I didn't want to have to go through all that again. So I went to lessons and I sucked it up for the rest of the year, which was one of the hardest things ever. And after that year finished, I felt so relieved. Until the next year, when we get put in sets. So I was in set 2. Like, each half, there's 2 halves of the year, and each half get put in sets, right? So I was in set 2, and for one of the sciences, I had the science teacher, and a couple months, like, I tried to deal with it. I was like, look, I just need to deal with it. Then after that, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I had a whole year of dealing with this, and I can't deal with it for another year. And at that point, it was possible, and I shouldn't run away from my problems. Like, I shouldn't run away. Like, I shouldn't do what my OCD wants me to do. But at that point, I had just tried for over a year, and I just couldn't do it. I was like, I have to, like, I'm sorry. So I changed sets. Now, this was 2 years later, not a year later, 2 years later. Because I still felt the same way after like a year and like 2 years. I still felt the same way, which is very surprising, because it, as I say, normally goes away in a few months. So I still felt the same way after 2 years. So I was just like, oh, I need to switch. So I switched sets, and then and I didn't have that science teacher again. And it just shows that I never actually got over it, which after nearly 4 years, I still haven't got over it. And that is nothing, like, ill towards the science teacher. Like, I don't have things against him. Like, I don't generally like I never really generally liked his personality anyway. I don't really think he was a nice person, but he didn't do anything, like, horrible to me. Like, so, and it's just like, I never actually got over that. There's loads of things I've actually gotten over, that were part of my OCD, but that's just something I've never gotten over. And it's just like interesting, and it's a bit disappointing as well, because you try so hard to get over something, and even after years, something so something that is just a person that you feels dirty, like, where people every day wouldn't think twice about, like, having a teacher. Like, it's just a teacher, like, just a person. And it's just, why do I think that way? Like, I've gotten over everything else, just not this, and I'm just thinking really differently to a bunch of other people. But at the same time, there are lots of people that have OCD and felt the way I felt and feel the way I feel right now, but just have it in different forms as well. And you're not alone, and it is something so hard to get over. And it can be the smallest things, like opening the door. Like, that would be so hard for me, and it just affects the way you live your life. You feel like you're being controlled in your own body. Like, you feel like you're being forced to do things, but no one's there forcing you to do it. It's in your mind forcing you to do it, and it's just like, geez. Anyway, so this has gone really deep, but there are things I've gotten over, and I know I can get over things that I haven't gotten over yet, and I know other people can as well, because it is very hard, but we can do it. Like, we are strong enough to fight this, no matter how hard it is. So God bless you all, and I'll see you later.